Hi, how are you?
Fine, and you?
Very well, thank you. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you for making some time today.
Thank you. So do you need, I can see you, but I can see myself. Is that right? Okay.
Can you see me? Am I in the...
I can see you nicely.
Okay. So I can see you. You're just a little bit off center to the right.
Let's move to the right.
That's perfect. A little bit higher.
Higher.
There we go.
Now this, but I stand rather from there. Is this okay?
Yes, that's perfect.
All right. I'll keep myself cool. All right. Let's go.
All right. So welcome, 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 ladies and gentlemen. My name is Chef Franco, as I previously said, from Chef and Guests. And today we're going to be chatting to Janelle van der Merwe. She's just adjusting the camera, everything's okay. Who is the owner of Alvis Drift Wines. So we're going to taste some fantastic wines today. I'm very excited.
Thank you. Well, I'll say hello to everybody before we taste. So, yeah, welcome. So what are we going to start with? Are we ready with your wines?
Right. So tell me something first. So before we get started, I just want to know, tell me a little bit about yourself. How did the wine started? How did you get into the wine business? What's your backstory?
So personally, my background is many years ago. I, as a student, used to go and work in the showgrounds for KWV. So that was like a student job, just answering the phone. But then I was really interested in this whole wine story.
Yes.
You know, to be able to learn something about wine, it's not just what exactly is in the product. It takes you through so many pathways. It takes you through botany, chemistry, biochemistry, history, culinary stuff. I mean, you've got to have the background where wine originates from. What do the people do? Why do they drink this style of wine? Because that is their cuisine that led them essentially to that geography in a way. So I was fascinated by the subject. And so post my graduation, where I actually just graduated in languages, but I went to work for the KWV. And eventually, I joined the Cape Wine Academy. I was one of the first lecturers way back in 1979. And my whole life started academically in wine. So I taught people how to drink wine, how to appreciate wine. And then, of course, I took a break because, of course, it was marriage and children and so on. And then I rejoined the academy later years when my children were a little bit more grown up. And just back to lecturing, but then
now you've just gone off camera a little bit.
So where did you miss me when I rejoined the academy?
No, like we can't see your face. You've just gone slightly off camera to the left. There we go.
Okay, so I later joined the academy again in the 90s, and I rewrote my plans because by now wine is like fashion. And the fashion of what you bring changes. So I restudied and then I completed my master's. So from there, the pathway took me into the marketing of wine and essentially judging wines and so on. Well, later in life, I actually remarried and I remarried into wine. So that part I didn't see coming ever in my life. But today I live on a wine farm. I am married to Alvis from Alvis Drift, and I continue marketing my wine. So I'm more or less the main brand ambassador for our wines in South Africa as well as international.
Okay, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Where are you right now in the room? Are you currently with the wines and the glasses? You just wanna. I just got some comments that they can't see you.
Yeah, so I'm sitting in what I call our boardroom, which is attached to our maturation. So on display is normally all our SKUs, all our different products that we make. It's very difficult always to get the feeling of what you do, if you just bring a buyer in and you say, there's the bottles, look, feel, touch, this is it, looks a bit different or better than what you see it on paper. So, and here we will bring only private buyers in, or your international, your importers and so on, and do a private sort of working.
Could you put the camera onto where you are right now? Like on your face or what?
So you can look around. I think
Yes,
she will let you look around. And you can see all our products on display here. We have 26 official lines. We're going to launch a 27th one. There are a bit of labels you haven't seen before, though those are only used internationally. So altogether, 34
beautiful.
if you want
Could
to
you
count.
switch? Could you just switch the camera back to you? Yeah, it's currently looking at the room now. Yeah, you just have to. I think it's the third button. It will flip back to you. There we go.
Now,
Beautiful.
thank you. All right. So that's more or less where I am. This is a brand new addition to our cellar. I don't know, Franco, if you know much about Alvis Drift. It is it's a private wine estate. It's a family farm. In this pocket where we're farming in Scherpenheuvel, it's 20 kilometers outside Worcester. So people have a little bit of a misconception about our region, but we are in a magical spot. I think when they hear the word Worcester, they first think, okay, we know about Worcester blind and deaf people and brandy. But I know we have the largest distillery here. But we are situated in a region where it's the most densely planted in South Africa, as well as, of course, dominated by white wines. As you go to Stellenbosch, that's almost like a Bordeaux of South Africa. It's more red wine, 70%. We are more in the white wine production. But, of course, you will see more.
Sorry, I've just lost you there. Okay, we're just having some Friday technical issues. I'm going to sort that out very quickly. There we go. You're back.
Okay. That's not the case at all. We are actually unique in the fact that we have a very cool pocket climate. We harvest 2 weeks after Stellenbosch, sometimes 3. So if you do farming, they normally take the day temperatures and the night temperatures and they give you an average and say, this is your farming temperature. Okay. In wineland, we call it the Winkler summation, which was by the Davis University in California. We Winkler too, which is the same as Bordeaux in France.
Yes.
And it's hard to believe because if you walk outside, you think, hey man, this is Peru, this is hot. Nothing to do with your day temperatures, nothing to do with the water. We have enough water to be farmed cleverly that we source from the Brunswick Dam via the canal and or the Breede River Valley. The Breede River Valley River has never been dammed up. So we always have access to water, and so do all the farmers around here. We call it our vein. We call it our heart that beats. I'm referring to the Breede River. So we are very fortunate to farm along 7 kilometers of this river. However, what people don't know about Alvis Drift is being part of a bit of a multi-farm. We also farm with citrus, hence the cooler climate. Also peaches and apricots, and then of course the bigger part, which is over to my brother-in-law Johan, is the dairy, and of course we have cheese factory and chickens and piggery and so on. So that is why a lot of people ask that why can't they visit Alvis Drift? Because we're not just a wine farm, we're a working farm.
Yes.
But you can come, but we are, if I'm not here, I'm the little girl of the farm. I say, do you want to taste something? So they make an appointment, they welcome if I'm here and I'm not traveling to come, if I can receive them. So that's a little bit part of the family issue. So Alvis Drift was bought by the grandfather in 1928. It was a small farm then that made wine in those days, but in bulk. That means a tank was made and sold to the merchants. Possibly in those days, it would have been KWV, it would have been Douglas Green, it would have been whatever the merchants were in those days. When his son, Bertie, took over, which is my Alfie's father, the bulk was still produced. It wasn't ever a bottled wine. So, and he was the vice chairperson of KWV, so a lot of bulk was sold to KWV. He was also chairperson of the brandy board and so on, and he started farming with peaches and so on and citrus. And then he started the dairy in 1967, which then now went over to Alfie's brother Johan. So they farmed together. Shortly, when the boys wanted to join the farm, the father Bertie refused. And he said, Father Bertie refused and said, no, you cannot, you've got to go and study. So they had to go and study, and Alfie, the oldest son, went and studied medicine. So he became a medical doctor, right? And so after that, his brother went to study law. Alfie practiced as a doctor for 18 years. Then he wanted to come back to the farm. In the meantime, his brother was already at the farm, but more involved in the dairy side of the business. Anyway,
right.
So Alfie, he wanted to come and make wine, and his father said, I'm already making wine. What are you doing? He says, I want to make wine in a bottle. And he says, oh, you're wasting our money. And nobody's going to drink a bottle of wine from Visseridi. And he wanted just to follow his passion. And his father said, you can wait until I'm finished with the harvest and go and see what's left. So in those days, he literally had to go and select a few grapes, make his first wine, which was Chardonnay. But in the early days, his dad registered the cellar as Rondebosch because they all went to Rondebosch. Anyway, one day, Alfie drove back to his practice in town, and there's a little low-lying bridge that crosses the Breda River, which his grandfather built in 1930. On this day, there were a lot of machines working on the road, and Alfie said, hey, excuse me, where are you going? He says, no, Doctor, we're working on this Alfie's Drift Road. And he said, son, what did you say? He didn't even realize that the locals called it the Alfie's Drift Road. And that's when he thought, wow, I registered this name, Alfie's Drift, 2005. So it's a very young brand. Yes. We have historically in Park, but Alfie was the first who actually started the Alfie's Drift brand today. And as everybody see a narrative.
Wonderful, lovely, lovely, lovely backstory. Tell me, so what kind of varietals do you grow at Alvis Drift Wines?
I'm not going to mention them because there's about 25 at the moment, and we're planning 2 more. So name them all. Most interesting, of course, the passion of the Chenin Blanc that was planted in the early days. Muscat was planted in the early days. A lot of you will remember that we used to call it Muscat de Frontignac, which we are now just more because of the designation. So the right name is Muscat Blanc or Petit Grain. So that is also planted by grandfather and Alfie. Hanepoort, of course, goes without saying. And then, of course, Pinotage. The red varieties in the early days, you know, Franco, because of the old people. So it was Colombard, Branavan, Branavan, because they delivered in bulk, you know. Clérat Blanche, 47-year-old vineyard just outside our maturation cellar, Clérat Blanche, which is old-fashioned, you know, Palomino they used to all he brought in fresh. Sauvignon Blanc and the Merlots, you know, we recently planted Marsala, which is a new variety to Bordeaux, and of course, Cabernet Franc. And then, of course, you can go with the man that brought in the Grenache, Syrah, and so on. So there's Chardonnay, Pinot Noir, you name it. But all the classics we planted and beautiful oldies.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. So, guys, I think it's time for our favorite part of this, which is the tasting. Where do you think we should begin?
Always with the bubbles. My first would be this one. That would be our sparkling wine. Yes. And if you look clearly on the label, it only says Pinot Noir Chardonnay. It doesn't say anything, but if you look at this bottle, it's unique in the sense that we actually imported the Prosecco bottles. Because that's correct, when Alfie did that, and it doesn't say sparkling wine, but when Alfie wanted to make sparkling wine, he was very specific that I want to be different. First of all, we use our classic varieties, which is your Pinot Noir and your Chardonnay, as you can see. Yes. The lovely African sunset in a bottle. And it's dominated 70% by Pinot Noir, 30% Chardonnay. So when he made this, he said, I cannot, because normally, sparkling wines, I said, is rather high in residual sugar. So the dosage will be above both. We wanted to make it very dry, number one, elegant, but the bubble is an issue because normally they would carbonate 3.5 bar. And he said, I wanted the same as my champagne size. I wanted 6. So he actually had adjusted machines, and we have this on 6.3 atmosphere. So it is as much as a cup can see the burst of the bubble.
Yes, yes.
And we confuse it, but you shouldn't confuse it because cup classic spend time in the bottle to age, spend times on the develop secondary and tertiary nuances. But this is a fresh and fruity. I don't know if you have some opinions. But what is nice about it is how it will burst. And watch when you pour it, it's just go kapow into your glass, and then you go celebrate. And I thought we'll choose a lot of that because it's like a foam bath. Oh dear, for the queen. Anyway, so this is we're going into our festive season, and I think it's really ideal that we introduce 2 styles that we actually produce on the floor. But here you are, beautifully aroma of raspberries you can get it, nicely cutting into fresh fruitiness, né? And it's nice how the Pinot Noir throws its character. If you treat it well, it gives you a nice fruitiness. And then and the bursting in the bubble. You know how to taste bubbles, huh? To test if it's good at explosion, you sip the wine and then push your tongue up against the roof of your mouth like that, so that you can see if they burst in your cheeks. Let's try that.
Yes.
So it's so ready to go.
With an explosion in your mouth. And it hits all
the lovely clean finish. And you still get that pinky little cherries coming through. And it's like, I can have more. Can you imagine a piece of oyster here?
Oh, yes, absolutely. I'm seeing oysters, I'm seeing prawns.
Yeah, it sort of matches the color of the prawns if you want. Not to overdo it with creamy sauces or anything, just freshly and quickly.
Yes, fresh and clean. And citrusy.
Yeah, citrusy, won't snack these bubbles. Now, to go back to the second one, which is your Brut d'April, what does that name actually mean to you? This is a cup classique one. It is Brut d'April. It means it is as dry as nature intended it to be. It has got no sugar. This is guilt-free stuff. This is for the babes that want to go to the keep their body going, but wants a bubble every day. So that's beautiful stuff. Now remember, according to the laws in South Africa, at this stage, I think they will up it in the new year. The Cup Classique Association prescribes that you have to leave after the, these are made in a second fermentation in the bottle. It's not a bubble that we have. You make the wine, you close. So this is again 65% Chardonnay, the balance is Pinot Noir. Now the second fermentation is completed and the lees is lying there. Now, according to the Cup Classique laws, please leave the wine on lees for at least 14 months, 12 months minimum. Well, if you can see the color of your wine and it's nice and developed, and this says to you, white wine gain color with age, but we left this 4 years on lees. This is 4 years on lees. It's become a big boy. It's become complicated. Secondary aromas, tertiary aromas, it's aged already, the nuttiness. the brioche. So
Yes.
that you know your fish bubble and you go, okay, that's straightforward. That's straightforward. But here,
Yeah. Yeah.
layers coming through.
Very, very deep. Yeah. Lots of layers.
The bubbles exploding in your mouth, trap here, 6 atmosphere, and then absolutely bone dry. Now, I always taste this if I do a lot of wine bubbles. I taste this last because it's such a developed wine. It's a heavier wine. It's a food wine.
Yes. Yes.
You can have this actually with some food. Okay, let's try it. Man, I clean joke. And it's when I introduce it to travelers or international business, it's very much like champagne, you know. But that is and it's got a body and so on. And then it's very, very good acidity balanced with your notion. Great nutty.
White wine mussels. Oh, definitely.
Mussels, because that is a challenge, you know, because you start cooking with onions and stuff there and you play with it.
You build your levels. Oh, wow.
Or even sometimes very, you know, your quiches and stuff, people battle with where do I fit that in, because quiches can be very challenging because of the creaminess and the egg yolks and all that.
Yes.
This is a powerful lady, you know, it'll cut through those, because it's always a question, where do I put the quiche, you know? Well, it's challenging against white wines. That just white wine. Okay, so that is the orchestra Brut Nature. Anything else I can tell you about that? Oh, yeah, that.
So tell me, I see that on your website there's 7 ranges of wines. Yeah. Now I just wanna. There's a difference between a Method Cap Classique or a sparkling wine and a champagne. Just for the people who don't know, if you had to tell someone who never knew why they call it those 3 different things, what is the reason why we can't call this a champagne or a
We've got an agreement, European agreement, not to copy any generic names.
Yes.
Not even with Champagne or France, also with Spain, not to say sherry, we just can say Fino or medium cream or something. Port is another word. We can say Cape, Ruby, we're not allowed to use the word port because of the origin of Portugal and so on. Whilst we're on the topic of champagne, we have already got an agreement with France way back 1936, which we actually refer to as the Crayfish Agreement. And in those days, 1936, please picture a few Buddha. Now, what do we do with these things? Who's going to buy this? We've got beautiful crayfish. The fresh these things, but you must agree to not copy anything that we mention. For instance, don't call a sparkling wine a champagne. Don't say you have this, you have a domain, that, and blah, 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 whatever. We say, oh, we'll sign. Where is it? So it was referred to as the champagne, it was referred to as the Crayfish Agreement, that we said we won't copy. I know, how come there's one wine with the word chateau on it called Chateau Libertas?
Yes.
Did you know that?
I know that.
Libertas was written in 1932, which preceded the Crayfish Agreement of 1936. So that was the system. That is on it, you know. Anyway, let's go back to where we are. Even with France, you know, there's a very small little province, the Champagne, north of Paris. That is a province. Even within the country, they produce a lot of these style wines, second bottle fermentation, in the Loire Valley. They produce it in Limoux, in the south. They produce it in Burgundy, Bordeaux. But they are never allowed to say champagne. They can call it mousson, whatever, but they never, because Le Champagne refers to that little region. So we don't need to say champagne. So what's referring to the region, the origin of that wine. So we say Cap Classique. By the way, a lot of our people are still used to calling the word Cap Classique MCC. Would we like some MCC, please?
Yes.
Taking you remember that, Franco?
Yes. Oh, yes, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah, go and Google MCC, a cricket club somewhere in London or UK comes up. So we're going to say now only Cup Classique. We're taking MCC
Cup
off the
Classic.
label for that. Cup
So
Classique.
we are ahead of the trend, guys. We are taking away MCC and saying Cup Classic.
Cup Classique is our version of the champagne style. This is in bottom fermentation. Just to come back to our different labels or our different styles of wine, of course, everybody fell in love with our very well-known signature label. This was the first for Alfie to sort of put his name on it, and it was the entry that the label just on my screen. Everybody knows this label. That is what we call the signature label. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, we don't make cheap wines, we make popular premium wines. So that is our popular premium. Let me explain something to you. We have 450 hectares of vineyard. We produce our harvest is, and it will clearly be this year again because the vineyards are looking beautiful, 9,000 tons that we harvest. The capacity of our cellar is, and it should enlarge now, is 8 million liters. However, historically, it was a bulk cellar. It was much smaller then by Alfie Group. But 50% is still bulk. And we honor very long-standing clients with that. They still buy the juice, never mind the wine as well. But 50% is now going towards our own wines. Every grape destined for our bottle is handpicked. We have the planning but everything for them. Only Alfie decides when to harvest, and his philosophy, this makes our wines different. Ripeness, ripeness, ripeness. You give the grape a character to start with, and I can put magic in a bottle. Okay, so that is our popular premium, also highly paid attention to during fermentation and tank selections. Then, of course, you have the reserve label. You have the reserve label. So whenever you see in our range the little bridge that our Opa Alfie built, so that is the reserve, and you see the sketch. That is our reserve.
Yes.
Special reserve. You'll see the bridge. That means 100% from barrel. That's 100% from barrel. Then, of course, the next one is what we call our ultra premium, and our ultra premium is actually a longer story. It has the family. Crest on it. I just fetched it from the stand. And it carries the grandfather's name. You can see there. Notice for you. So, by the way, Alfie comes from here. ALVI. That's that. Yeah, AL. That's where the nickname comes from, Alfie.
Oh,
okay. Yes, so this is our ultra premium. That's our, and then of course we have our luxury label, which is the Eagle. It's called the Varrones. Yes. Now, you and I are tasting something else tonight, or today. Sorry. And that would be our 221 range, a very special range, a very special range. Are you ready to taste with me?
Absolutely, yes.
This award-winning baby. You can show your bottle. You'll see second time now that we're in the top 10, Standard Bank top 10 award for our Chenin Blanc of his drift. And it's pouring out beautiful nonsense. And while we sit and talk about this, remember I mentioned this is Alfie's favorite variety. He always says, yes, we produce it, we use them obviously for our bubbles and so on. But Chenin's got this character. Chenin's got this inviting, characteristically honey, floral. Man, come and eat and pick me. Even our little Jack Russell that rides with Alfie, or if you go and look at our videos, you see him on the bike all the time. But see, and if Alfie is eating, he wants to taste as well. And normally, when Bootsy eats a grape, Alfie says, harvest. Because you give him a green grape, he will split it. I can't control him, he helps himself in the vineyard, you know. Anyway, the 221 range is very special. You can buy it online. It was created for restaurant and hotel and so on. We call it body wine. it is something we do not want to just put out there because it's something special for a chef like yourself or a restaurant and so on. So it's available online, but the 2-to-1 range is my dream range. It's your answer to all your problems, especially on the bottom. But anyway, what I meant to say is, when you see the 2-to-1 range, it means 30% from the wine in this bottle comes from a barrel. That comes from the virgin. 70% comes from the signature range, which is from the tanks. What do you have? You have the best of two worlds come together in one bottle.
Best of both. Yeah.
Elegance. And the why we call it 2-to-1. Just try it. Beautiful florals. You know that little Allisons? Allisons is those little piffeta, white flowers. In Afrikaans, heuningblommetjies. That's the name. And then you lemony, sort of lemony stream going.
Yes, yes, yes.
And I always say, imagine if somebody comes and says, oh, I'm from I don't like the wine. So, yeah, it's okay, you can have the 2-to-1.
Yeah.
I prefer you can have the 2-to-1. You see. So listen, the 2-to-1 story is the best between the two worlds and price-wise as well. If you go onto our website, you'll see how favorable it's priced. But the 2-to-1 is referring to our grandfather, Opa Alfie, the founder of the farm. That was, he called it, remember the farm was called Alfalfa. So if you and you'll see the name Alfalfa. Alfie's Jerk is the brand that my husband named for the name, Dr. Alfie. Anyway, so in 1928, the All Blacks toured the great nations of the world, and they arrived in the Cape. They're going to play now against the Springboks. But the opening match before was played against the Boland Platteland. I mean, it was like the VPL today, almost those teams. Very famous. I remember that team those days. It was like Pierre Mortal and, you know, Craven and these boys. And Opa Alfie played. And of course, it was a bloodbath because this team, the All Black team, was known as the Invincibles. Nobody could beat them.
Yeah.
And it was not well. Halfway, Pierre Mortal says, you know what? If we can just get the ball out of the scrum and pass it to young Alfie. And duly it happened. And he just cleared the field and he scored the first try against the Invincible team.
The Invincible team, yeah.
He was then chosen for the Bok team and he was then capped Springbok number 2-to-1. And that team became the Invincibles of the world. Donnie Craven, Benny Osler, Van Westhuizen, and all of them. That was Opa Alfie's team, the 1950s.
Wow. Amazing.
So 2-to-1. Okay. Did you like that, Franco?
Oh, that was beautiful.
There you are. Last but not least, our red baby for the day. This is a Shiraz blend. And I think show the people the cork. If you can see what we did with the cork, we printed Opa Alfie's face on it with the 2-to-1. Yeah. Can you see? Nice, right? And then it just says, yes, that's a beautiful shot, yeah. And then it says special cuvee. That's nice, thank you, Franco. So special cuvee means a very special blend or a special, French can call it tank cuvee. So this was actually in the 2-to-1 range, not this wine, but when we started the 2-to-1 range, it was the very first wine we worked with and we made it. So normally, part of my job on the farm is not only baking bread and selling wine and telling people to buy my wine, but it's also to be active with the winemakers and also when we start tasting barrels, what do we put in which range and the blend is made up and so on. So tasting with them. So when we were busy with this, there was a few 60 bottles around us, and we try the samples. What are we going to do? We're going to make a blend now for this wine.
Yes.
And by now, I have to quickly run into the house to fetch my bread. I bake every morning sourdough bread. And I said, okay, boys, I'm back now. And I'm in the house. I come back. And off he stands there with his glass and he said, try it. I was like, okay, try, but I see there's a lot of little sample bottles around this. And I go, Alfie, what have you made? He says, is it nice? And I go, is it nice? It's brilliant. But what have you done? And he says, I just want to know if it's okay. I said, it's brilliant. It's brilliant. I'm making a Chateauneuf de Pop. And of course, my Afrikaans husband goes, what's that? And I go, darling, Chateauneuf de Pop means you can use 13 varieties like they do in the south of France.
Yes.
He says, you're funny. I said, no, you're funny, but shall we call this a Scampaniels of Chateauneuf de Pop? This is 7 varieties. 7 varieties. It's dominated by Shiraz, of which 50% is from the barrels. And there's a spot of, remember, Alfie plays with his American oak and French oak, so we've got those two playing around. So 30% from the barrel Shiraz, 30% from the tanks. Then the fun happens. Grenache, Durif, Petit Verdot, Cabernet, Pinotage, Viognier to the all in this cuvée. Now you just have to tell me what you think. That's all I want to know.
I have never in my life had nose like this. Wow.
Oh, no, you see, Franco, this is a oopsie wine. Oopsie,
I'm sorry, guys. You have to understand. You have to try this to understand what we're going through right now. So, wow. So I do this thing where I'm in shock, so I go quiet.
We also make a range. We do a Pinotage. Remember, 36.
Yes.
We just launched our Sauvignon Blanc, which is also a 30% from barrel. So the 2022 Sauvignon Blanc as well. So it's got Sauvignon Blanc, Chenin, special Cuvée, Pinotage, in the 2-to-1 range. Yeah, lovely, absolutely. How come you have that? Brilliant. You got spoiled, didn't you? Okay.
I know someone very special.
In the bottle range, we also have, of course, Blanc de Blanc, which is 100% Chardonnay, and then we have a Brut, which was less on lease. It's been, and it has, of course, residual sugar of about 7. Like these, they're still very dry, but this is no sugar. Remember, bikini time, no sugar.
Yes. Keep your body that you work so hard for.
No, we don't want to spoil that, do we? Yeah.
I literally, as we were going through this, the food and wine pairing that is going on in my mind, like you said, it's so unique that your focus is ripe, and ripe. And you can taste that in all of these. But this absolutely blew my mind.
I know that will you red wine lover. But it does. Yeah.
Yep. And there we have it in the comments. 2022 2-to-1 special Cuvée is my favorite. Thank you, Tiffany. She's not wrong.
I wasn't. Now, but you know why? I would also tell you something. The label is discerning. The label looks elegant. The label looks acceptance for something special coming. And it's rare because if you don't do it online, we don't really splash it everywhere in the market. It's very special. It's for our chefs and so on. So it's really something, let's buy it and take it as a gift with Christmas dinner. You know what's going to happen now. We're going to bribe you. Oh, we're going to eat their Christmas here. What did I do? You know, that kind of thing. Okay. So many, but as you said, this is a rechte kuiertjie, except that it's also grand. It's also smart. And never mind that we win quite a lot of awards with our Chenin and so on. So they're not to be frowned upon. They are actually respectful that boys on the block. Yeah.
Thank you so much for today. I mean, this was a wonderful experience. I learned a lot myself. And so I just want to go through a few more things. So when you're thinking of food, like we said in the beginning, prawns and mussels, but you know, we understand how special this is. What food For me, I would serve this with, now we know our South African culture to have braai and meat on the braai, but this is so decadent that it needs something very, very special. I would go with a seared beef fillet and definitely with a wood fire. And oak and cherry with a prairie plum sauce. Sorry, this guys, you have to you have to understand this. So, what temperatures would you serve the blends that we had today at?
I'm going to give you two answers here. One
Yes.
wasn't asked, the other one you asked. Right. My mind went with this because I don't know why I want to put this road variety always with a mushroom thing. But we've got some stunning mushrooms in our market. I mean, there's Steinpilz, we've got all these shiitakes and so on. Imagine a beautiful risotto even with shavings of truffle with this special puree for our vegetarians for that matter. You know, if you don't want. But certainly it will match any beautiful hearty dish that you wish for in the meat because it's got just so many elements around it. Temperature in terms of red wine now, very wrongly, and I say this because I'm in South Africa and I'm sitting in the southern hemisphere, room temperature is a misnomer. We mean by that in Europe your cellar temperature, and our cellar temperature that most home cellars should run at 16 at least, between 14 and 16 degrees. Yes, for those who say, you know, what are you doing here with this? Excuse me, I go on holiday to the Kruger. You don't think I take my special today with me, but I put it in the Kruger's fridge, which is not very cold always because it's so plain. But I take it at night because it's now flipping hot outside. Because often I normally go for his birthday in January to the Kruger. That's how it is up here. And I'm finding my kids, they go into the fridge, and when we're ready for the bride, I'm dripping with sweat, and he's dripping even more because he's bride. And then you get this lovely, just cool, beautiful wine. Never put it in ice. Don't chill it too much. Why not? What is the story with not chilling red wines? So red wines, or even your bigger bodied white wines like the wooded Chardonnays or Chenons, they have tannin. Tannin is a beautiful structured feeling, like Franco referred to, beautiful structure on the wine. It is referring to tannin. So when you chill a wine too much, all you're getting out of the wine is tannin and the fruit smells. So you're getting an absolute disabled, out of balance wine. So don't do that. Never chill it too much, 14 to 16 degrees. Just put it in the fridge to cool it down. Even if you slip up, perfect temperature. Because now your wine's like, oh, I didn't know this today. No, don't do that. Okay, so just. Whereas with the Chenons, you can go 8 degrees, nice fridge temperature, put the night before in the fridge and so on. Of course, bubbles goes without saying it, as cold as possible. Because otherwise the bubbles just blow up in the air. We want them blowing up in our mouths, not in the air.
So I have another question. You know how when you have something really, really special, you don't want to ruin the moment by finishing everything. And I know of quite a few people who would open a bottle like this and actually want to close it and keep it on the shelf for another special occasion. How long would that be able to sit on the shelf for?
Oh, I won't keep it on the shelf. Once I've opened this wine, and we do it even at home, I do protect them in the fridge. I do have a very cold cellar that plunges to 12, but I'm too lazy to climb downstairs, so I put it in my own fridge. In the warmer section of your fridge, which is why you're a chef, it's at the bottom, right? So keep them
away from the vent.
Often because I don't have tourists here. I don't have a venue where people come in and out and so on. So I would work today. Well, today I'm going to drink it. It's Friday, hang on. But if it's Monday and I have a group, I would recork it by Friday with Brian. Hello. That's the whole week. They will open it up. And we'll still drink them beautifully. Just don't leave them outside, especially not in summer. Put them in your fridge.
Yes.
Even the red wine. Take them out of the fridge, they slowly come back to life. Shake, baby, and let's drink. These screw caps are just your constant your frustration.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
open the bottle immediately. Don't leave the bottle open because your process of oxidation carries on. You will screw them in. This I just put the corks back. If I know I'm doing a tasting, I put the corks back immediately. I keep them in my fridge. I drink them 4 or 5 days. We actually do this to test our wines personally, Franco, Elsie and I. We check the longevity of our wines. So for a restaurateur, if I go to you and say it's okay if your boys forget to close, my wine can handle it. And very often, do you know what is my best one of all? I can open it. I forgot about a bottle that I did, and I went away to work in Holland, and I came back, and I said, "Alfie, that was 3 weeks ago." And I opened it and went, and I said, he said, "No." I said, "Yes." And I still use it for a tasting. Oh, they are the answer to you. But you have to have a very good seal. You have to have a
Oh,
very good
yeah.
closure. I
Yes.
like my closure. They hinge on the one side. They're very strong.
And I
Good
mean, you can
hinges.
hear it as soon as you opened it. Yeah.
You can buy them from us online. But they are, you just open close, boom. The MCCs are a little bit more gentle, but these carbonated babies, they explode to you. Trust me on that. No oxidation. 1 2 weeks. But you know, who wants to drink that stuff? Because then you're going to make people. You mean that drink the chlorine.
Yeah. Tell me again, I just want to remind our viewers, where can they get hold of the wines? I know you mentioned online earlier.
Yeah. So the 2-to-1 range online. The Pinot tea is on our website, available because it's a really special, unique wine that's not like the big bird as well, the eagle. I call it the first, the big bird, the eagle. But most of them, especially the that is now available in Checkers and Pick and Pay. Most of our stores. The signature range, the very first one I showed you, superstores. They're not Pick and Pays, they're not Checkers and Pick and Pay. Some of the reserves are not known at all. Alberta's really not known at all online. Because I think people don't know us for these super premium wines or the ultra premium wines.
Yeah.
They do know the signature range, the white label. And that you see everywhere when you enter the shop. Okay, I know officer. And by the way, even we drink that. We take sometimes when we go to Mozambique or a hot pick place for it's not something you don't want to drink heavy wines. You want something cool. Also, I drink entry level Shannons and Samples. Hello. They're beautiful.
Yes.
They're still handmade. That's why it's popular, premium. We don't do cheap. But they are cheap. There's not it. They're competitive.
Tell me, I also see that you guys have a wine club. Tell me more about the Alvis Drift Wine Club. And how do you become a part of that?
I think it's the easiest is pop yourself www.alvisdrift. Go online, join the wine club. You do much better by being a member of the wine club than winning. So I'll first, if I was you, I'll join the wine club and then place my order because of your discount promises and all the beauties that come with it. That's
Absolutely.
what you go. Website.
Definitely. I'm doing this right now after this live. Guys, so I just want to say to our viewers and our followers, please go online and follow Alvis' page. It's at Alvis Drift Wine. And you can, like she said, you can order your wines online, www.alvisdrift.co.za. Guys, become a member on the wine club, place your orders. I will say it again. Okay, as a chef with 18 plus years of experience, I need you to go and purchase this and understand what is a wonderful experience inside your mouth. I've never in my life had such an experience. The nose on this. Wow. Yeah, that's all I can say. This has been an absolutely wonderful, wonderful experience. And then we have another comment. Excited to taste the 221 Sauvignon Blanc in January when they're back in South Africa. So we have some overseas clients who are coming back home to taste.
Oh, Franco, I hope one day you'll come to the farm and cook here for us for a special occasion.
Oh, absolutely. The amount of recipes that are in my mind right now with the tasting that we've done. I've got a 4-course in my head, especially for you and Alvis.
Well, once from Alvis Trip, you always remain a friend of ours and welcome.
Thank you,
So
thank
nice.
you, thank you so much. And
I
it
love
was
you too.
wonderful meeting you too.
Thank you. Go
Take
well.
care. Enjoy. Bye-bye.
Merry Christmas, wherever you are. Happy holidays. Celebrate. Lots of stuff here to celebrate with. Lots of stuff to eat with. Enjoy. Enjoy. Life is short.
And one more. Ladies, for your bikini bodies.
And the other.
Guilt-free deliciousness.
Thank you. Yeah, and listen, stop this nonsense being you only need a bubble for a special occasion.
No,
Life.
no.
Always have a bottle in your fridge ready. You don't know what's through your door. You don't know what you need to celebrate a phone call. You need to pop like this. Always one in the fridge ready.
Absolutely. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Take care.
Happy seasons. Bye bye, Franco. Cheers, my
Salute.
friend.
Cheers.